I'm going to tell you a story about coffee. And also about the time I realized my 7th graders really, really hated me. So it was November of my first year teaching, and I was teaching 6th grade humanities, 7th grade humanities, and one every other day 7th grade reading class. I had way too many preps. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was in way over my head. Most of my 6th graders really liked me because I just would try to be goofy and funny with them, and they liked it, and they were a little bit afraid of me because I was a big bald guy. But my 7th graders were not buying it, and they could tell from day one that I had no idea what I was doing in regards to managing a classroom. So after months of power struggles, one day I have my cup of coffee in the classroom. I turn my back, walk to the back of the classroom to get something off of a back shelf, and 2 students sneak to the front of the room and pour pencil shavings in my coffee when I'm not looking. How bad does it get before students are willing to pour pencil shavings in a teacher's coffee to tell them that they need something to change? And I believe truly that they did this for one reason. They were crying out for structure. I was a brand new teacher, and what nobody had told me in graduate school was that kids, more than anything else, want a consistent and predictable environment. And I did not give that to them. So today, we're going to talk about structure and how it can save the sinking ship of your classroom if you feel like you're drowning. Now, who am I? I am not here to tell you how to do your job. In fact, that's not what I do at all. My name is Mike. I'm a former teacher, I'm a former administrator, and I have kind of created the best job in the world for myself. All I do is I travel around the country and I document the best strategies, tactics, techniques, advice from real classroom teachers and share them with other teachers around the country. Now, fortunately, my year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and so on got much better as I learned to add structure from the very beginning of the year and be consistent throughout the year. But during that first year, those first few years, I really struggled in certain areas to create an environment that made it possible for students to thrive and succeed. And it's not just from me. I have spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours at this point talking with real classroom teachers like yourselves. And the whole goal of this kind of professional development format is to get advice from people in the trenches that are doing the same job as you are every single day. But before we get into all that, let's talk about why structure is important. Can you hear that? I wonder if that's getting on tape. So just so you know, I have 3.5-month-old twins downstairs. I work from home. And so I might have to like pop into a closet or sit on the roof or something at some point to be able to communicate without kind of chaos around me. It's ironic that I'm talking about structure in the classroom when having twins will teach you that that's a difficult thing to implement at a certain age. Now, when we talk about structure, we're going to be talking about something very specific. And we're going to start with the idea of procedures. And by that, we mean a simple 4 to 6 steps of something that actually has to happen in your classroom. Now, when procedures become second nature for your students, they become routines. And this is what you want all day long for many, many, many reasons. Now, by the time something becomes a routine, it's so valuable because it allows teachers to get menial tasks done super, super fast, and students. It reduces disruptions. It increases trust dramatically between teachers and students because it creates a climate where expectations are clear and predictability is high. It also creates time for more learning, which is kind of what it's all about, right? Now, you may be thinking, look, I've been teaching for 27 years. I don't need this. I have 17 million routines. I know them backwards and forwards. My students know them backwards and forwards. I'm set. And that may be true. It could be that your value add today is offering some of that insight. If you have your routines dialed, believe me, there are other teachers in the same room with you that need to know, that want to know how you do things, because they usually don't have the time to come observe it. And it's not something, these are the nitty gritty tactical details that not everybody talks about that often. Before we get there, we're gonna watch a quick video that we produced with a phenomenal teacher on this topic. This is a clip from 9th grade physics teacher Jeff Kolb. Jeff is a seasoned veteran. He's taught for decades and is really, really good at his craft. Now in this clip, you're gonna see that Jeff has really thought through all of the ins and outs of how his class starts, the pacing of his class, which is a topic we'll talk about in the future time, and what needs to happen at every turn so that students know what to expect. Now he's secondary, so especially in high school, you can be a little less detailed with the step-by-step instructions, where in elementary or in earlier middle school, you might need to be much more explicit on exactly what needs to happen when. But you'll see that the consistency is still there. Students know what to expect. And one of the key things that I love about Jeff's perspective is that he does not allow students to be unproductive in the classroom. He will do everything possible consistently to make sure that all students have what they need to be engaged for the day and get learning done. And this makes the students bring their best attitudes for learning to his class constantly. So without further ado, let's check out this quick clip of my conversation with Jeff Kolb.
When students enter the class, the first thing that they do is they pull out their notebooks and they write down the learning target for the day. And so the learning target's always posted up there. When I start my class, I put up a picture of a cell phone going into someone's pocket and a cell phone going into somebody's backpack. And they see that picture up there and it says, "You choose, pocket or bag." And so that's a phrase that I use a lot in my class, pocket or bag, pocket or bag. And it's just a reminder that during instructional time, phones are going to be in your pocket or they're going to be in your bag. And I find that that's something that I need to remind students about often. And I do, and I go around and check on them. So at the beginning of class, they're writing down the learning target. They've got their phone in their pocket or bag. I'm kind of browsing around the class to make sure that all kids have their notebooks out, all kids have their phones put away. And then I quickly go over to my teaching station and I do attendance. And so once I also use a stamp as just an extra little thing that kids look forward to. I have these goofy little stamps that I use. And so when they get the learning target done, they know I'm going to come around and give them a stamp in their notebook. And that's going to give them a little dopamine hit, and they're going to be happy that they got that stamp.
So you're running around to each student pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And just stamp it.
I mean, I got a long stride, so I walk. I can cover a lot of ground. So after we do the learning target, then we move into the lesson for the day. The lesson is always going to be, there's going to be a component of the lesson where they're going to be doing something in their notebooks, and there's going to be a component of the lesson where they're going to be doing something on their Chromebooks. The Chromebook work is almost always something that I prepared in advance and posted in the learning management system. So they click on that, and then they follow along with that. So in our classroom, the predictability is we're always going to be using Chromebooks. We're always going to be using notebooks. And we're going to change about every 15 minutes. So let's say we introduce let's say the kids are going to do a laboratory investigation. Okay, so we start out and there's going to be some vocabulary for them to learn, or some question they need to answer, something where I want them to get on their computers and put some ideas on their screen. So pocket or bag, they see that screen. Next thing is up there is I say, okay, guys, let's open up your Chromebooks, log into Canvas. And so we're going to log into Canvas, and I'm going to show them exactly where to click. And I'm going to zoom right in on that module, zoom right in on that link, and say, okay, I want you guys to click on that link right there. And I'm going to walk around, and I'm going to make sure every single kid is logged in, every single kid has clicked on that link. And that their battery's charged in their Chromebook. I mean, I'm assessing all of that right at the beginning of class, because I don't want to run into a situation later where a kid's got a technical problem, there's some issue that needs to get fixed. So I'll try to start the lesson with something with their laptop, with their Chromebook. We're going to spend about 15 minutes working on that, and then we're going to, for the sake of instructional variety, we're going to take a break from that, whether we're done or not. Okay, guys, take a break from that. Let's close up those Chromebooks. Why don't you take out your notebook? So I hit the button. Now we've got our document cam showing. I've got my notebook out, and I'm like, okay, right at the top of your notebook, this is what I want you guys to write. And then I move right into what we're going to do. And so I show them what I expect by actually doing the steps at the beginning. And then often it's something we've done before. Okay, we're going to do a KWL graphic organizer. Okay, get out your rulers, and and then I'm going to actually construct that graphic organizer right in front of them while they do it too. Now they have to figure out what to put in the boxes, so that's on them. After 15 minutes, it's time for a brain break. Okay, we've had 30 minutes of instruction. The kids have done a learning target. They've done, they've done a quick write, and now they've done a KWL in their notebooks, and their brains are full. And they're wondering if so-and-so has texted them, and they're wondering what's going to happen after school, what's going to happen at lunch, and they're distracted. So what do? We do a 5-minute break.
I like to think, like, you saying, as you did previously, that you spend some time at the beginning of the lesson, making sure that everybody has a Chromebook out, make sure they have the chargers and stuff. And I'm sure that takes a little bit of time too, but the phrase that always sticks with my mind with things like that is go slow to go fast.
Yes.
Right? Like take a little bit of time at the beginning to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Because some people would say, some teachers might say like, well, hey, if they're not prepared, I'm not waiting. Like we're moving on. But it's like you're going to leave them behind. That's going to create distractions later. They're not going to get the content. And it's like if you take, an extra 60 seconds now to fix this issue, it's going to save you 5 to 10 minutes of reteaching or something down the road. Like you have to be strategic about that.
And I think, and then of course you're going to find yourself in that situation where you're walking around the class and you've got everybody, you've got them, right? And they all know what to do and things are working well. And then you've got this one kid, seriously, you still haven't logged in yet? Seriously, you've got a problem with your password and we're just now figuring this out? Taking the time to help them troubleshoot that is really worth it. And being consistent about that is very worth it, because what it demonstrates to the kids is that you are committed to seeing every student learn. And if that becomes an expectation for kids, that if I go to Mr. Kolb's class, he's always going to make me do the work. There's no way I'm getting out of it. I think that gives them a sense of value, because they know that you've decided as a teacher that this is important for everybody. We're all going to do it.
Well, and it eliminates some of the issues. I know students have admitted to me before that the issue of I forgot my password, it's half that and half I don't want to do the work. And I know
of
that
course,
if I pull this stunt, I can get out of, I can kind of zone out for half an hour and get away with it.
Yeah.
But if they know going into your class, there's no way that's going to work, then it eliminates that even being tried.
That's right.
Now, in that clip, you may have seen something that really rings true for you that you'd like to try, or you may see something that you maybe even disagree with. One of the things I like to tell teachers is there is in education no one right way to do almost anything. What's really helpful though is focusing on a way that works for a teacher in a classroom, because you know that there's going to be something there that actually works and is implementable in the real world. Take some time to share your thoughts and have a conversation with your colleagues about what could work in your classroom.